dreams of someday joining the Indian Armed Forces. And we're grateful that Vishal and his family joined us today. We're very proud of him. Our nations are strongest when we see that we are all God's children, all equal in his eyes and worthy of his love. Across our two great countries, we have Hindus and Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and Jews, and Buddhists, Jains, and so many faiths. And we remember the wisdom of Gandhiji, who said, "For me, the different religions are beautiful flowers from the same garden, for they are branches of the same majestic tree." Branches of the same majestic tree. Our freedom of religion is written into our founding documents. It's part of America's very first amendment. Your Article 25 says that all people are equally entitled to freedom of conscience and the right freely to profess, practice, and propagate religion. In both our countries, in all countries, upholding this fundamental freedom is the responsibility of government, but it's also the responsibility of every person. In our lives, Michelle and I have been strengthened by our Christian faith. But there have been times where my faith's been questioned by people who don't know me. Or they've said I adhere to a different religion, as if that were somehow a bad thing. Around the world, we've seen intolerance and violence and terror perpetrated by those who profess to be standing up for their faith, but in fact are betraying it. No society is immune from the darkest impulses of man, and too often religion has been used to tap into those darker impulses as opposed to the light of God. 3 years ago in our state of Wisconsin, back in the United States, a man went into a Sikh temple and in a terrible act of violence killed 6 innocent people, Americans and Indians. And in that moment of shared grief, our two countries reaffirmed a basic truth, as we must again today, that every person has the right to practice their faith how they choose, or to practice no faith at all and to do so free of persecution and fear and discrimination. The peace we seek in the world begins in human hearts. It finds its glorious expression when we look beyond any differences in religion or tribe and rejoice in the beauty of every soul. And nowhere is that more important than India. Nowhere is it going to be more necessary for that foundational value to be upheld. India will succeed so long as it is not splintered along the lines of religious faith, so long as it's not splintered along any lines, and is unified as one nation. And it's when all Indians, whatever your faith, go to the movies and applaud actors like Shah Rukh Khan, and when you celebrate athletes like Milkha Singh or Mary Kom, and every Indian can take pride in the courage of a humanitarian who liberates boys and girls from forced labor and exploitation, who's here today, Kailash Satyarthi, our most recent winner of the Nobel Prize for Peace. So that's what unifies us. Do we act with compassion and empathy? Are we measured by our efforts, by what Dr. King called the content of our character rather than the color of our skin or the manner in which we worship our God? In both our countries, in India and in America, our diversity is our strength, and we have to guard against any efforts to divide ourselves along sectarian lines or any other lines. And if we do that well, if America shows itself as an example of its diversity and yet the capacity to live together and work together in common effort, common purpose. If India, as massive as it is, with so much diversity, so many differences, is able to continually affirm its democracy, that is an example for every other country on earth. That's what makes us world leaders. Not just the size of our economy or the number of weapons we have. Our ability to show the way in how we work together. How much respect we show each other. And finally, our nations are strongest when we empower our young people. Because ultimately, you're the one who has to break down these old stereotypes and these old barriers, these old ways of thinking. You know, prejudices and stereotypes and assumptions, and those are what happens to old minds like mine. You know, I'm getting gray hair now. I was more youthful when I first started this office. And that's why young people are so important in these efforts. You know, here in India, most people are under 35 years old. And India is on track to become the world's most populous country. So young Indians like you aren't just going to define the future of this nation, you're going to shape the world. Like young people everywhere, you want to get an education and find a good job and make your mark, and it's not easy. But in our two countries, it's possible. Remember, Michelle and I don't come from wealthy backgrounds or famous families. Our families didn't have a lot of money. We did have parents and teachers and communities that cared about us. And with the help of scholarships and student loans, we were able to attend some of the best schools in the world. Without that education, we wouldn't be here today. So whether it's in America or here in India or around the world, we believe young people like you ought to have every chance to pursue your dreams as well. So as India builds new community colleges, we'll link you with our own, so more young people graduate with the skills and training to succeed. We'll increase collaborations between our colleges and universities and help create the next Indian Institute of Technology. And we'll encourage young entrepreneurs who want to start a business. And we'll increase exchanges because I want more American students coming to India and more Indian students coming to America. And that way we can learn from each other and we can go further. Because one other thing we have in common, Indians and Americans are some of the hardest working people. And I've seen that. Michelle and I have seen that in a family here in India. I just want to tell you a quick story. On our last visit here, we visited Humayun's tomb. While we were there, we met some of the laborers who are the backbone of this nation's progress. We met their children and their families as well. These wonderful young children, bright smiles, sparks in their eyes, and one of the children we met was a boy named Vishal. And today Vishal is 16 years old, and he and his family live in South Delhi in the village of Bourbon. Vishal. And his mother works hard in their modest home. His sister is now in university. She wants to become a teacher. His brother is a construction worker earning his daily wage. And his father works as a stone layer farther away, but sends home what little he makes so Vishal can go to school. And Vishal loves math. Mostly he studies. And when he's not studying, he likes watching Kubudi. And he dreams of, because he's an example of the talent that's here. And then Vishal's dreams are as important as Malia and Sasha's dreams, our daughters. We want him to have the same opportunities. Sisters and brothers of India. And we are not perfect countries. And we've known tragedy and we've known triumph. We're home to glittering skyscrapers, but also terrible poverty. New wealth, but also rising inequality. We have many challenges in front of us. But the reason I stand here today and I'm so optimistic about our future together is that despite our imperfections, two nations possess the keys to progress in the century ahead. We vote in free elections. We work and we build and we innovate. We lift up the least among us. We reach for heights previous generations could not even imagine. We respect human rights, human dignity, and it is recorded in our constitutions. We keep striving to live up to those ideals put to paper all those years ago. And we do these things because they make our lives better and safer and more prosperous. But we also do them because our moral imaginations extend beyond the limits of our own lives. We believe that the circumstances of our birth need not dictate the arc of our lives. We believe in the father working far from home, sending money back so his family might have a better life. We believe in the mother who goes without so that her children might have something more. We believe in the laborer earning his daily wage and the student pursuing her degree. We believe in a young boy who knows that if he just keeps studying, if he's just given the chance, his hopes might be realized too. We are all beautiful flowers from the same garden, branches of the same majestic tree. I'm the first American president to come to your country twice, but I predict I will not be the last, because as Americans, we believe in the promise of India. We believe in the people of India. We are proud to be your friend. We are proud to be your partner as you build the country of your dreams. Jai Hind. Thank you.